In the vast territory of the Northern Dynasties, there was a woman named Mulan, whose birth seemed to carry an extraordinary aura. She came from an ordinary family. Her father was once a valiant soldier who had retired and returned home, while her mother was a gentle and virtuous woman. Their lives were not wealthy, but they were filled with warmth. Mulan displayed extraordinary qualities from a young age. Unlike other girls, she was more interested in wielding swords and spears, riding horses, and archery. Her father, watching his daughter like this, couldn't help but ponder in his heart about what she might do in the future. Mulan's father had participated in many battles in his youth and had a deep understanding of war. He knew that the country needed heroes, and Mulan seemed to possess that brave spirit within her. However, as she grew older, her father began to worry. The country was often at war, and as a daughter, how could Mulan go to the battlefield? When Mulan was 16, the country once again brought news of conscription, and this time, her father also received a conscription order. Looking at his aging body, he was filled with anxiety. Mulan noticed her father's worries and knew that this time, he might really have to go to the battlefield. She walked up to her father and said firmly, "Father, let me go." Her father looked at his daughter. A look of surprise flashed his eyes, followed by deep emotion. He knew that Mulan had always had a brave heart, and this time, she had truly decided to take her father's place in the army. "Mulan, are you really determined?" "Yes. Father, I'm willing to go to the battlefield to protect our country." S' voice was firm and resolute. And so, Mulan cut off her long hair, disguised herself as a boy, and set out on her journey. Her heart was filled with guilt towards her father, but more so with loyalty to her country and a desire for victory. As Mulan traveled far, her story spread in the folk. People moved by her courage, and her deeds were passed down as that of a female hero. And Mulan, on the battlefield, proved the power of women through her own actions. Mulan embarked on her journey. Her figure standing alone on the vast land, she knew she would face unknown challenges, but she did not retreat. Throughout her long journey, Mulan relied on her extraordinary wisdom and courage to successfully pass the military camp selection. In the camp, Mulan appeared in male attire, her voice deep, her demeanor steady, and she quickly won the trust of her comrades. Her martial arts skills were strong, her archery exquisite, and she ranked first in every training session. Her presence caused the soldiers, who had previously believed only men could stand on the battlefield, to look at her with new eyes. However, Mulan's heart was always heavy. She couldn't act as freely as other soldiers, couldn't relax on the ground during rest, and had to remain vigilant at all times to prevent her identity from being exposed. Whenever it was late at night, Mulan would silently pray in her heart, hoping her bravery would bring peace to the country. As time went on, Mulan's performance in the military became increasingly outstanding. Not only were her martial arts skills strong, but her tactics were flexible, and she achieved great victories on the battlefield many times. Her name began to spread as a legend in the military, and soldiers looked up to her as a role model. In a fierce battle, Mulan led her troops to cleverly avoid the enemy's encirclement and defeat the enemy. Her heroic deeds spread throughout the entire army. Even the highest commanding officers took a new look at her. Mulan's reputation grew, but she always remained modest. She knew her identity could not be exposed. In the military, she made many comrades, with whom she fought side by side and shared the joys and sorrows of the battlefield. Mulan established deep friendships with them, but she never revealed her true identity to them. She knew that if her identity were exposed, not only would she be in danger, but the entire team could be affected as well. Mulan's heart was filled with contradictions. She longed to fight as freely as other soldiers, but she was afraid her identity would be discovered. She could only silently pray in her heart for the war to end soon and for her to return home. However, the war showed no signs of ending. Mulan continued to fight on the battlefield, her figure becoming a pillar in the hearts of the soldiers. Her story spread in the folk, becoming an inspiring legend. As the years passed, Mulan's time in the military had been long, and her heroic deeds had spread throughout the entire frontier, even to the court. Her name, Ha Mulan, had become a byword for bravery and loyalty. In a massive battle, Mulan's commanding abilities were fully displayed. She led the soldiers to a decisive victory with her precise judgment of the terrain and enemy situation. In that battle, Mulan took the lead, her sword flashing like lightning, each slash carrying the determination to defeat the enemy. After the battle, Mulan's name became even more resounding in the military, and her heroic deeds were incorporated into military songs, sung in the hearts of every soldier. Despite her widespread reputation, Mulan's true identity remained a mystery. The soldiers only knew that their leader was a man, but they did not know that behind this man was a woman's resilience and wisdom. As the war continued, Mulan faced more challenges. She had to not only deal with the enemy's attacks, but also internal suspicion and pressure. Some soldiers began to doubt why their commander was so young and why he always seemed to appear at the most dangerous moments to save the entire team. Mulan's heart was under immense pressure, but she never showed any sign of weakness in front of anyone. She knew that if her identity were exposed, not only would she lose her life, but it could also affect her entire family. Therefore, she had to be more careful and stronger. In the middle of the night, during a patrol, Mulan encountered a group of drunk soldiers who surrounded her, intending to do her harm. Mulan did not panic, but calmly dealt with the situation, using her martial arts and wisdom to successfully escape the danger. This incident made Mulan realize even more that she had to remain vigilant at all times. As the war intensified, Mulan's heart grew heavier. She began to miss her hometown and her father whenever it was late at night. She would silently pray in her heart for the war to end soon and for her to return home. Finally, in a large-scale battle, Mulan's troops faced an unprecedented predicament. The enemy forces were numerous and morale was high. Mulan knew this was the most severe test of her career. She stood at the forefront of the team, her gaze firm, her voice resolute. "Follow me. We will definitely win," she said, leading the soldiers to charge forward. They successfully repelled the enemy. That battle once again proved Mulan's bravery, and her name, Hua Mulan, became a legend in the frontier. However, the joy of victory did not last long. Mulan knew that the war had not ended, and her mission was not yet complete. She had to continue fighting until the country was restored to peace, and the desire to return home had also taken root in her heart. The war finally ended, and the tranquility of the frontier returned. Mulan's achievements were recognized by the court, and she was Frontier Guardian, becoming a legendary figure in the military. However, honors and glory could not fill the void in Mulan's heart. She longed for the long-lost peace and the moment she could reunite with her family. According to the arrangement of the court, Mulan finally received a leave of absence, which she knew would be the beginning of the end of her military career and her return to her hometown. Before leaving, she came to her father's tomb, knelt down to pay homage, and softly recounted her experiences over the years, expressing her deep nostalgia for her father. "Father, daughter can finally return home." Mulan's voice trembled with emotion. With the order for leave, Mulan began her long journey home. She dressed in plain civilian attire, hiding the heroic figure beneath her military uniform. She did not want to attract attention and just wanted to return to her hometown as modest as possible. On the way, Mulan encountered many former comrades in arms who congratulated her and wished her a happy and fulfilling future. Mulan smiled and bid them farewell, but there was a hint of melancholy in her heart. She knew that many of them might never see each other again. Finally, Mulan returned to her hometown, that familiar village, that field where she once ran. Everything seemed so familiar. Her father's old house still stood there. Although the years had left their mark on it, it was still the warmest harbor in Mulan's heart. Mulan pushed open the door and the familiar scent of wood filled her nose. Her mother, seeing her daughter return, was filled with surprise and tears, while her father looked at her with a sense of relief. His daughter had finally returned. In the following days, Mulan lived a peaceful life, helping her father manage the household and stitching and weaving with her mother. Although there was no smoke of war, Mulan's life was filled with happiness. She knew she had finally found her true home. However, Mulan did not forget her past. She often took out her weapons in the quiet of the night alone on the empty ground outside the village, practicing her martial arts silently. In her heart, she always retained that loyalty to her country and her yearning for peace. As the years passed, Mulan grew older, and her story spread in the village, becoming a beautiful tale passed down by later generations. And Mulan herself quietly spent her peaceful and happy old age in the village. Her name, Hua Mulan, had become an eternal legend. As time went on, the story of Hua Mulan spread throughout the folk for hundreds of years. Her name was no longer just a name. It represented a spirit of selfless dedication and loyalty bravery. Her story inspired generations of people and became a part of Chinese culture. In Mulan's hometown, her story was woven into folk tales and dramas. Villagers would hold celebration activities on specific holidays to commemorate this great female hero. Her story was passed down from generation to generation by children, becoming an important educational material for educating the younger generation. Mulan's son, although he had never seen his mother's true identity, inherited her bravery and wisdom and became an outstanding general, continuing to fight for the peace and well-being of the country and the people. Whenever the country was in trouble, he would always remember his mother's words. The peace of the country is more important than anything else. As time went on, the story of Hua Mulan spread far and wide, even being translated into multiple languages, allowing people from all over the world to learn about the greatness of this Eastern woman. Her image was not only sculpted in China, but also in various artworks around the world, from novels to films, from paintings to sculptures. However, the real Hua Mulan had passed away, her body resting on the land of her hometown. But her spirit, like her name, lived on forever in people's hearts. On a sunny spring day, a young scholar came to Mulan's tomb holding a thick book that recorded her life. He silently read, filled with respect. "Mulan, your courage and wisdom will always illuminate our path," the scholar whispered in his heart. Behind the scholar, a group of children gathered around, curious about the book in his hands. They had heard of Mulan's story, but had never seen his hero. The scholar told the children about Mulan's deeds, his voice filled with awe and emotion. "You must remember, Mulan is not just a story. She is a spirit that will never go out of style," the scholar said. The children's eyes sparkled with curiosity and longing. They were deeply attracted by Mulan's story. On this spring afternoon, the spirit of Hua Mulan took root in the hearts of the children. As time went on, the story of Hua Mulan would continue to be told, and her spirit would continue to be passed down. Her name, Hua Mulan, would forever be engraved in the epitome of history, becoming an eternal legend that inspires countless people to pursue justice and bravely face challenges. The story of Hua Mulan not only influenced China, but also had a profound impact on the world. Her image became a symbol of female power and perseverance, inspiring countless people, especially women, to pursue their dreams and goals. In the field of education, the story of Hua Mulan has been included in many textbooks, becoming a window for generations of students to understand Chinese history and culture. Her story teaches people that everyone, regardless of gender, has the responsibility and obligation to contribute to the country and society. In the field of literature and art, the image of Hua Mulan is widely used in various creations, including novels, films, TV dramas, animations, and stage plays. In these works, her image is constantly reshaped, but her core spirit of loyalty, bravery, and selflessness remains unchanged. In contemporary society, the story of Hua Mulan has been given new meaning. The rise of women's status and the enhancement of gender equality awareness have made the image of Hua Mulan more in line with the needs of modern society. She is no longer just a traditional military woman, but a representative who shows the power of women in adversity and pursues self-worth. Internationally, the image of Hua Mulan is also used to promote cultural changes. People from different countries and regions learn about the traditional virtues and modern style of Chinese women through her story, and her story has become a bridge across borders showing the diverse faces of Chinese women to the world. In the field of economics, the story of Hua Mulan is also used in marketing and brand building. Many companies use her name and image as elements of brand promotion, aiming to convey a positive and resolute brand image. In social activities, the image of Hua Mulan is used to advocate various social movements, from environmental protection activities to women's rights movements, and her spirit has become a symbol of many public welfare activities. Her story reminds people that everyone can play a role in their own position and contribute to social progress. Although the true identity of Hua Mulan may remain a mystery forever, her story and image have deeply penetrated the hearts of people. In modern society, her spirit is constantly interpreted and reinterpreted and has become a spiritual pillar in different eras. On a sunny morning, a young woman took a walk in a city park. She passed a sculpture of Hua Mulan and stopped gazing at the statue, her heart filled with endless thoughts. "Hua Mulan, you are truly an amazing woman," she said to the statue. "I hope one day I can be like you and become an influential person," she whispered. The voice of this young woman was the echo of the hearts of countless people. The story of Hua Mulan inspires them to pursue their personal dreams and encourages them to play an active role in society, becoming the master of their own lives. As time goes on, the spirit of Hua Mulan will continue to be passed down. Her name and image will forever remain in people's hearts. She will become a brilliant pearl in the river of human history, inspiring countless people to pursue justice and bravely face challenges.